Boom. Yeah. What up, Kaden? What's good, brother man? How you doing? How you living? How you doing? How you doing? Let me get my music jumping. Hold on. How'd you beats? What up, Kaden? How you doing, brother man? Hey, we're about to turn it up in here. We're about to turn it up in here. No cap. No cap. What up, Elijah? Yes, sir. It's about that time. Hey, request to come up. There it goes. View request. We're about to turn it up in here. What up, Cal? What up? What up? What up? How you doing? Hey, drop a one in the chat if you're having a good Friday.
Yo,
Yes, sir.
what's good, brother?
What up, man? How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Man, I'm living the dream. I've been anticipating this all day.
Hey, me too.
I've been
I'm excited.
anticipating all day. Hey, what wins have you taken so far today?
What wins? I just got back from the gym. Posted a reel earlier. Been feeling good all day. Did some reading. Did some bomb ass meditation earlier.
Yes, sir. No, that sounds like some dubs. I can relate to you on the I had my wins were a fire I slept in. Slept in till 8:30. Then had a fire meditation. Fire meditation. Then after that, what I do? Breakfast with the dub. No, I was enjoying my waffle. Like, I'm sorry if I'm boring y'all with the details of my day, but that waffle had extra love in it today. I don't know. I was feeling good. But and then this is a dub in itself too.
Yes,
Now
sir.
our topic too. What up, Mikey Harris?
Mikey, that's good, brother.
No, we're about to be lit. So money making personality.
Yep. Hey, I'll start this off by saying, developing a money-making personality is not necessarily about developing a different personality. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you are. You know?
Mm, yeah, no, that's good. That's good right off the rip. Yeah, because you know, and to add to that, you know how they always say it's not about what you get, it's about who you become, right?
Yeah.
And right off the jump, that's what I want to start with too, is in this entrepreneur process, it's been more about the habits that you have to build, the distractions you have to cut out, the belief system that you have to build that just overall makes you more excited about life, right? Because I don't know about for you, I'm nowhere near my monetary goal, but I've been more fulfilled with life because of who I've had to become to actually make those goals realistic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
No, yeah, that's man, so let's get right into it. For you, what describe a money making personality?
So I think, like I was saying, a money-making personality is your personality. It's becoming more of who you are. It's not developing a different personality. It's shedding all the stuff that's blocking you from expressing yourself fully as exactly who you are. You know, it's
Right.
shedding the old limiting beliefs, the negative beliefs, the false beliefs, and the fears and the distractions and the like a lot of people have a fear of being themselves, like
Mm,
truly and authentically themselves, because there's this fear, this worry that they won't be good enough, they won't be accepted. And so they look at other people who are successful and they're like, I want to be more like them.
right.
But really you should be saying, I want to be more like me. And
Mm, mm,
because like if you want to be successful, people are gonna, if you want people to follow you, right? Say you want
mhm,
to build a personal brand, for example. That's all
right.
about getting people to know and love you for who you
Facts.
are, right?
Facts.
So what's your take on it?
That's, bro, you just dropped some gems right off the rip because, I see eye to eye with you on that. And like you said, it's really just unlocking the most authentic version of yourself every single day. So if you're uh someone that loves playing the banjo, right? Then figure out how to become the best banjo player, and then naturally the universe, if you're working to master that craft or perfect that craft, you're going to get profits, and not necessarily money profits, not necessarily real estate, not necessarily that made up stuff, but you're going to get fulfillment, which is going to attract the monetary abundance, right? So my eyes, a money making personality is someone who has an abundant aspect on life. And I'm not talking about, somebody that. My bad, family. I know that you're enjoying this video, but real quick, if you're ready for change, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling tired of being tired, then you need to join the missing piece. You're not going to find a better program for this cheap. So hit the link in the description for a workout plan, a nutrition guide, mindset coaching, all of that. Just hit the link and you'll see all the details. All right, back to the video. This is just has a wishful thinking, but they actually have the mindset of, okay, I'm a creator of my reality. If I want X, Y, and Z, then I can put in the work to go get X, Y, and Z, right? I can put in the work to make my personal brand happen. I can put in the work to make $10,000 a month. I can put in the work and find the necessary actions to go get exactly what I want. So really a money making personality to me in simple terms is a creator, is a full, no, because we're all creators. Don't get me wrong. We're all creators. An intentional creator. That's what I'll put in front of it. An intentional creator. That's my definition of money making personality.
Yeah, yeah. Just like we were talking about last night, like we are all the creation and the
Yeah. Yeah.
creator.
Oh my God. Talk about it.
Yeah, so like we are a part of the universe. We are the universe, right?
Yeah.
So the universe is, what's up, Isabella? That's my sister.
What
Uh,
up?
like the universe is creativity. It's love. It's abundance.
Mhm.
And just realizing that we are the universe, we are those things too, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's getting out of that scarcity mindset
Facts.
that comes from the ego
Facts.
and getting into the abundance mindset,
Hmm.
aligning with source, the universe, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So for you, what's helped you? Well, I already know the answer, but for anybody that's listening, what helps you get out of that ego state in the sense of allowing it to hold you back?
Hmm. First, developing awareness of what that even looks like,
Yeah.
right? Because the when we identify with the ego, we have like a completely false perception of ourselves because we're identifying with our past, we're identifying with our thoughts, with our beliefs, with our pain, right? And that's not who we are. So when you start to develop your self-awareness
Hmm.
and become aware of what like that ego voice sounds like and how it makes you feel, then you can tell the difference between what actually is ego and what is soul, you know?
No, that's fire, bro. And that's something that ultimately helped me level up also in my money making pursuit, just abundant pursuit in general, is being able to decipher that voice because it all sounds the same, but the verbiage is always different, right? Because typically, at least for me, I'll speak just for myself, I won't generalize.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, all of the voices sound the same way that I hear my voice out. That's what my little voice in my head sounds like. Whether he's talking shit, whether he's motivating me, it doesn't matter. Whether he's guiding me towards the abundance that I want, it all sounds the same. but I can just tell the difference when it's different verbiage. Like when it's from a place of negativity, then I'm like, okay, bet that's not the best version of myself. Like, no, let me tap in. Let me listen to the voice, but let me find out what the true root of the message is. Because ultimately, this is another great trait that I think ties into like a money-making personality, is really like making something out of nothing, right? So taking that negative voice in your head, taking the trauma that you have, taking the trials and tribulations you went through, and then how do you repackage and repurpose it to make it something abundant, make it something worthwhile? How do you take your trauma and now learn how to coach somebody through it? How do you take your insecurity and cure it and then talk about it on social media? How do you take, basically, like you've heard money making gurus talk about it, how do you make your liabilities assets, and not just your physical liabilities, your emotional liabilities, your personality liabilities, your friends that are liabilities? How do you spend those, repackage them and repurpose them in your life, so then now you're taking nothing and you're turning it into something desirable?
Yeah, yeah. Turning your pain into purpose.
Yeah. Oh, that's fire. Pain and a purpose. Simple.
That completely changed my life
Yeah.
because it helped me to get out of the suffering and that attachment to my past and to my pain, and
Right.
turn it into my mission, you know? Because
Ooh.
like I've gone through all these things. I've gone through the suffering, the depression, and stuff like that, and I know it's
Yeah.
not fun. And that's what inspired me to do what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I initially got into, and I feel like most people do, I initially got into entrepreneurship because I wanted to make money. I
Yeah.
wanted I wanted time and money freedom. That's it.
Facts.
And eventually it led to this path of personal development, because one quote that I heard that really stuck out to me was, your level of income will never exceed your level of personal development.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
Right? Because like what you get in life is just a reflection of who you are.
Right. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are.
Mm-hmm. And then I started going all in on my personal development because I started noticing, seeing, and feeling these
Yeah.
changes in my life. And I was like, yo, like this shit blew my mind. And I was like, I need to tell other people about this. I need to help other people experience this too, because a lot of people don't realize that there's so much more than that pain and those experiences and that suffering. Like we don't have to live in suffering.
Facts.
We don't have to live there.
Facts. It's your decision. You're the creator of your reality. Your perspective is reality. It's not the
Yeah.
circumstance. I preach this all the time on my page. Like the circumstances don't define the end result. It's all your perspective, right? It's all your perspective. What side of the argument are you feeding into more of? Are you looking at more of the negative that's coming out of the situation? Are you looking more at the light? What are you pulling from it? I loved what you said earlier, how you said you took your pain and turned it into your mission. Like,
Yeah.
at fire, most people will play the victim. Most people will play the victim because that's what we're taught to do. We're taught to, oh, something undesirable happened, let me point the finger. Oh, I didn't do X, Y, and Z. Oh, it's because of Elijah. It's like, no, he has his own stuff going. And ultimately, maybe it was his fault, but what is that gonna do for you? Placing your reality, placing your circumstances, placing your future in somebody else's hands who is juggling, who says they care for you, but ultimately they're juggling so much of their own stuff. They're juggling their own emotions, they're juggling their own relationships, their own goals. And they do have the genuineness that they do care about you, but ultimately, no matter what, even though people won't admit it, you have to put yourself first, because you're the only common denominator in everything that you make go. So that's something that really helped me once I realized that, like that's not selfish to put yourself first, that you need to figure out what you need to improve, then those relationships that you're in, those friendships that you're in, those business ventures that you're in, all of that stuff just evolves with you, because the person that's making the action happen, the person that's posting the content, the person that's hugging on his girlfriend at night, the person that's the son, all of that, if he's improved mentally just as a being, you're naturally going to be a better marketer, a better content creator, a better son, a better boyfriend, just because the vehicle is better. Like, the vehicle is better. Simple. Wait, let's.
Yeah, I need to read this.
Yeah, stepping outside of myself is the best way to describe it. Realizing that we are all one, we have the same thoughts and the same feeling. And separating myself, I realize that we can all create facts. Anything we give awareness to and put our mind to facts. Your dominant thoughts create your reality. Word. Can't pour out
gems.
Oh, can I come eat family dinner? It sounds like y'all be
yeah. Hey, you're like 3 hours away, bro.
Oh, me. Pull up. It sounds like y'all have some great combos down there.
Yeah.
No, love it.
Yeah. Isabella's my homie.
Is she older than you or younger than you?
She's like a year and a half older than me. 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, bro. So for you, how did you start the self-improvement grind? Like, what habits did you start with? Talk about that.
For anyone who's listening to this right now, the probably best thing you can do and the simplest thing you can do is immerse yourself in new knowledge and information. It'll help you to develop new perspectives about life in general, new perspectives about dealing with your struggles, your challenges. For me, when I first started, I was delivering pizza at a pizza shop, right? And I was also starting up my Amazon FBA business at that time. And I always got so frustrated because I would be at work and I'm like, my time would be so much better spent at home working on my business right now.
Right. Pizza.
What are you talking about, Dre? So I would be like, yeah, my time would be so much better spent at home working on my business right now. And so I figured there's got to be something I could do, right? So every time I would deliver pizza, first I looked up like motivation online. And I was like, I got to listen to something other than music. So I started listening to a podcast. And then I became obsessed. That's what introduced me to the whole concept of personal development. And I was just listening to these podcast episodes, just one after the other, like nonstop. And that is what really started to change my mindset. Yeah. And not only change my mindset, but I started feeling so much better and more confident about myself, about my life, about the direction that I'm going in, because just being exposed to those perspectives and that wisdom, it'll absolutely change your life. Because when you start to change what you consume, you'll change how you think. It's that simple. You change what you consume, you'll change how you think, because you're bringing new thoughts into your mind, right? Because we think like every day, we think like 95% of our thoughts are just repeated thoughts from this day before, same exact thoughts. So you need to introduce new perspectives into your mind, right? That is key, especially if you're just getting started. That's the best thing you can do. Read books, listen to podcasts, listen to lives like this.
That's fire. No, that's fire. And I really want to highlight through that story, I really want to highlight the fact that you didn't even mention starting to make more money. You didn't mention any new Gucci. You didn't mention a new car. You didn't mention a new house.
Let me tell you, bro.
Got more rich and your spirit felt more rich along with it. That's really what I want to stress to people, because oftentimes we'll think, we'll think success and we'll be, delayed gratification. I have to wait so long to be successful. I have to do this, that, and the third. It's like, no, you can give yourself a pay raise every single day with your mindset. You can give yourself a pay raise every single day with the mindset.
You become rich in your mind before you become rich in your reality, right?
No,
And
that's what I think about that a lot, bro. Cause like, I'm doing a lot better than I was last year, no doubt about it. But I'm just like, I'm already, you know how they say you have to become what you want before you even get it. You have to act the
yeah,
part before you're even in the movie. I like to think about it like the analogy that I'll think about is I call it like the Will Smith analogy. Cause think about it. Did Will Smith, let's go back in time before he went to set for Men in Black, did he get his script a week before and then learn all his lines on set? Or did he get his thing 2 years before? He was practicing at home, practicing in front of the mirror, practicing in front of Jada Smith, practicing in front of whatever his son's name, I forgot his son's name. He was practicing over and over and over and over. So when he got to set, yes, he messed up his lines. Yes, they had to rerun through certain scenes, but he was prepared and it put him in position for his director, co-director, executive producers, the mentors to guide him. Hey, Will, instead of saying it like this, just tweak it like this. And instead of acting super happy in this scene, act a little more mild. And
mhm,
ultimately, the preparation leads it to be a hit movie. And that's the same with your life. If you
yeah,
start, this is an exercise that I love to do.
fire,
I actually have mine right here. Is I write these all the time. Like write success stories. Write
yeah,
write the stories of you becoming successful. Write the story, write thank you notes. I do this all the time. I'll write a thank you note in the third person from like my sister or like from my mom, being like, oh, James, thank you so much for buying me a house, buying me a car. And I'll forget about them and I'll go back and read them and it'll feel like it's real. I'm like, oh shit, like I did that. I did
I
that.
love that.
But you're mentally preparing yourself so when the situation comes or the situations leading up to, your intuition is looking out for those. Your subconscious is looking out for the abundance, is looking out and attracting the necessary people that you need, the necessary resources that you need, the opportunities that you need to go into. And then that comes back to what we were talking about earlier, is like being able to decipher the voice. Because ultimately, a lot of the times we'll get ideas. And with an idea, you have two options. You can either act on it or you don't. Simple. You either act on it or you don't. So it's like once you get the idea, understand you don't need to act on every single one because you're just going to spread yourself thin. But know which one. Try shit. Try shit. Listen to different business frameworks. And I over the last year and a half, you don't know how many things I threw at the wall trying to make it stick. Oh,
Yeah,
I tried drop shipping. I tried funnel building. I tried coaching. I tried uh, uh, business incubate, making a business incubator. I tried all of this stuff, and ultimately, after they don't work, you feel like my original feeling was like, damn, I just wasted so much time doing this, this, and this when I could have just stuck to that. But then now where I'm at, it's like all of those skills come full circle. The
mhm,
reason that I wasn't making 10 stacks a month last year is because I wasn't ready. I wasn't the person who I needed to be yet.
that's
And
a
I
good.
could have given up. When I first wrote down my manifestation, I want to make $10,000 a month, and it didn't happen after 1 month. It didn't happen after 2 months. It didn't happen after 3 months. It didn't happen after four. It didn't happen. And I just keep writing it. I keep writing it. And those doubts do creep in. Like, am I crazy for thinking this? But then I'll always reevaluate and be like, wait, hold on. What are the necessary characteristics, habits, and actions needed to hit that level and exceed it? And I'll be like, oh, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm only doing X. There's no wonder I'm not where I want to be yet, because I haven't fully stepped into the role.
Yes. Yeah, you got to become the part. You got to become the part. It's like we were talking about last night. The you you decide what is the what you want and who is the person who is living that reality at the moment, right? And that's the self-image that you need to step into. And so you can backtrack from there, right? Like reverse engineer it and say, okay, so this is where I want to be. What's the step? before that, and the step before
Yeah.
that, the step before that. Okay, what do I need to do now to step into that? Right?
That's good.
It's, you got to become the person.
And to add to that, once you reverse engineering and you figure out that there's steps that you don't know, ask questions. That's the biggest thing. Ask questions. Your quality of life is defined by the quality of questions you ask.
Yep.
You have to ask fire ass questions. And that's a skill set you can build.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
What up? Welcome to my Meg talk. She said,
What's up, Megan?
Yes. I love it.
I think it's funny how when I was telling my story about, starting out my business while I was working at the pizza shop,
Yeah.
You said that I didn't say anything about money, right? I didn't say anything about the money that was coming in. Well, I was becoming rich in my mind at that time. I was becoming more rich in my mind, but I lost all my money.
Mm-hmm.
From that business alone, I lost 15 grand, and that was all the money I had. And after that, investing in coaches, investing in other programs and stuff like that, I went into debt, like more than 20K.
Yeah. Bro, like, I can relate so much, bro. You don't know how much money. I don't even know how much money I spent last year on different programs, coaching, webinars, all of this shit. And like my bank account's literally going down. It's going reverse of where I'm trying it to get it to go. But the knowledge that I was feeding myself, the amount of reversing those negative beliefs and negative stories and narratives that I had, like, it's no wonder the money wasn't coming in as fast as it was going, because there is so much baggage to be poured out that it's like, when is the best time to plant an apple tree? 50 years ago, but when's the next best time? Today. And once I realized that, it's like, yeah, I know I just spent $1,100 and I'm probably not going to see a return in 2 weeks yet because I don't have my foundation set. I know I just dropped $500 on a course, but I only have $700 in my account. I know that I'm about to buy a $100 ticket to somebody's webinar, even though I only have $400 in my account. But what is the return on investment in that? Not necessarily monetary wise, but who can you meet? What information, what framework, $1 million framework can you learn?
Mm-hmm.
What just characteristics can you see? And once you really start buying those courses, buying those tickets, going to those webinars, going to the live events, getting in those Facebook groups, your belief system just increases more, because you're like, oh, okay, they have a similar vision. Maybe it's not identical. They have a similar vision, but the cool thing about it is they're making 6 figures, they're making 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures. I'm barely at 3 figures, right? But the cool thing is they eat, drink, poop, and breathe just like I do. Okay, so bet. What's the difference between us? Let me go find out. Let me get in the room and find out. And what you'll find out is like the systems that they're running, the habits that they have, the characteristics that they have, the mindset that they have, the belief system that they have. And once you start adopting those, the money, it comes so easily. It comes
That's the key. That's the key. And like investing in yourself is crucial, because like I've talked to multiple people who are so worried about the ROI on investing in themselves, investing in their mindset. But it's like, you are becoming a whole new person. You're becoming a whole like upgraded version of yourself. And if, like, for example, if I'm going to spend 20K on coaching, all that kind of stuff, the return on investment may not come right away, but that's me in the process of becoming the person. And guess what? In a year, in 2 years, I'll be making 7 figures.
Yeah.
And it's like, I spent 20K, maybe by then I'll spend 50K on all this stuff, right? But the return on investment is ridiculous because of who I've become.
Exactly. Because you have that knowledge now. Like, nobody can take your knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody can take your mindset. Like when you were on the live a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and someone was talking about other people stopping them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody can stop you if you don't let them.
If you don't
And
allow.
if you have the mindset, like it, that's not even going to be a problem.
Hmm.
Other people might try to stop you. Other people might try to interfere with your plans and your goals, whatever. They might not believe in the vision.
Right.
But
They make
it doesn't matter. What matters is what's in here.
exactly, bruh. Knowledge is priceless. On me, knowledge is priceless. That's facts, Meg. No, bro. It. Oh my God. I love self improvement so much.
Right.
So I'm in a psychology class right now because I'm wrapping up my last trimester, and so I'm reading my psych. I was reading my psych textbook, and we were talking about psychological disorders today, and it almost made me like not like mad, but it just made me a little tense because I was just reading about the ADHDs, the OCDs, the depression disorders, the anxieties, right? And the crazy thing is obviously I don't want to down talk any of those because I know a lot of people struggle with those. But the unfortunate thing is it's like almost like a tagline in a sense. Like people will just place that on people, and then
Yeah.
people will be so unconscious they'll just adopt that. Oh, I was sad for 3 days, then somebody told me I was depressed, then I talked myself into depression, and I actually went into a 2-month depression. I actually went into a 2-year depression because somebody told me I should be sad about this, or somebody told me since I don't have 5 figures I should be sad that my life isn't lived on a beach. Somebody told me since I have ADHD I can't learn properly, so now I don't like learning. But a lot of the times people won't ask themselves, what do I think about it? Okay, you say that I can't focus, but I say that I have a creative way to think. You say that I have anxiety. I say that I'm just going through what I deem as necessary precautions. Like, it's whatever you make it. And this is a quote that I always say. I don't know if I got it off somebody or if I made it up. You know how it goes. Like, you kind of just like regurgitate quotes and you don't know if they're yours or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always say you are what you declare. Like, you are what you declare. You're not what somebody else's reality, what realities, you're not, your reality isn't created by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes we allow other people to create our reality. Oh, you were born into the Johnson family. All of the Johnson men are typically abusive. They smoke and drink, and they work a minimum wage job, right? But it's like, just because you have the last name, just because that's the story before you, just because that's what's being poured into you doesn't mean that's your end all be all. And this is something my coach is always like, he preaches this to me all the time. Like, you are who you are, but that's not who you have to be. And that's exactly what you were touching on with the new knowledge. Once you get new knowledge, then it allows you to start, your neural pathways start moving different. You start thinking about things different. You start analyzing things different. The situation that used to make you mad, now that you heard Joe Dispenza talk, now you think about it a little different. Now that you heard Elijah Mang talk, you think about it just a little bit different. You may still react the same, but you slow down that reaction a little bit. You may still be in that depression, but you thought about getting out of it at least because you planted the seed. It's like, what seeds are you planting for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so crucial. Like, you got to be, you can either accept those labels or not accept them and make a decision that you're going to overcome.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my mom told me when she found out that I was struggling with like anxiety, depression, stuff like that. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like you got that from me and your dad." It's like, okay, yeah, maybe I did, but it's likely from the trauma that I experienced.
Mm.
and the emotions and all that kind of stuff that I didn't know how to deal with at the time.
That's
So
good.
I may have got it from you guys, but it's not like it's in our genes or anything. That's the bullshit that I see when people talk about depression with all these things like you were talking about that require medication.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not coming from you having a chemical imbalance in your brain. You might have a chemical imbalance in your brain, but where did that come from? Trauma, not dealing with emotions, repressing them,
Yep.
stuff like that. So what did I do when my mom said that to me? And I was like, oh, I feel so anxious, depressed, stuff like that. I decided that I was going to overcome that shit. Like I got offered anxiety medication, all that stuff. I was like, no, I'm not taking that shit. I'm not trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. That's not like that shit doesn't fix it.
Right.
It will just cover it up.
Right.
It'll just numb you even more. So it's having determination to drop the labels, not identify with them, and say, I know I can overcome this, so I'm going to do it. That's exactly what I did. And I'm happier than I, like, back then, ever even thought was possible.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fire, bro. That's fire. That's exactly it. And some practices that I would preach that have helped me change my life, change my mindset. And I'm just giving y'all what I've learned and what's worked for me. Some things that have worked for me is like Elijah said, the information gathering. So literally just looking up random YouTube, how to overcome depression, how to become wealthy, how to become happy, how to think. Literally just Google that, how to think. Like Google anything and so, just watch something, like get the wheels turning. And then another thing that really helped me, this changed my life. And I don't care who it is, I don't care who you are, you have to journal. You have to journal. That changed my life. If I became president, the one law I would have, everybody has to journal at least once every 3 days. And I'm being lenient. You have to journal at least once every 3 days. You need to realize what you're thinking. Not necessarily to change it yet, but to first become aware of it. Elijah talked about this earlier. You first need to become aware of it. What are you thinking when your mom yells at you? What are you thinking when your boyfriend's mad at you? What are you thinking when money comes in? What are you thinking when you first wake up? That's what's creating your reality. The fact that you're waking up at 6 a.m. isn't the dread. The dread is probably something deeper. Probably you.
It's your thoughts about it.
Yeah. Literally. So what are you thinking? And once you become aware of what you're thinking, then that gives you the option. You have the same two options that you have when you get an idea. You either act on it or you don't. You either change it or you don't. You either keep the same thoughts or you don't. Right? Your boyfriend broke up with you. You're either sad about it or you figure out how to work through the emotions. One of the two. And it's fine to be sad about it. It's fine to have those negative emotions, because without bad, there's no good. Without sad, there's no happy. You need the duality, right? But what I will say is you can't allow it to become your identity. Or you can, but just consciously make it that way, because ultimately, a lot of the times, a bad situation will happen. An undesirable situation will happen. An undesirable situation for someone else, and we'll adopt somebody else's reaction. Oh, this Brittany's boyfriend broke up with her and she went into a 6-month deep depression. Now when Courtney's boyfriend broke up with her, she seen what Brittany did, so then she tricked herself. She wasn't even that sad about it, but she tricked herself. Dang, Brittany went into the depression. I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. And then we'll conform. We'll conform to what others are doing. We'll conform to what others are telling us to do, instead of making the conscious decision and seeing what's rational for us. Like, take the time to make the decision for yourself. And I'm not saying you have to sit here like Socrates and think all day, But what I am saying, at least think for a second, think for a few minutes, consciously think for a few minutes, because you're always thinking. But that's humans' greatest superpower is the brain. And we only use less than 10% of it, 10% or less of it, right? So you better get all of your percentage as high as you effing can, because your instincts are nowhere near a lion's instincts. Your intuition, that can compare to instincts. Our intuition can compare to animals' instincts, right? So tap into your intuition, and the way you do that is by figuring out what you think. Decipher that little voice in your head. Is the little voice in your head productive for you right now, or is it unproductive? And how can you change it? How can you get your little voice in your head to work better for you, right? Because ultimately it's your employee. It's not even an employee, it's your companion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge. And I think it's also important to understand that, like, when we're always in our mind, that's a big part of what detaches us from experiencing and feeling and knowing our intuition. Because, like, our body has far more intelligence than our mind.
Mm.
So, like, when we're in our mind, it's, and like thinking about all these possible circumstances, we're in fear, anxiety, worry, whatever, we're disconnected from our body, and we're likely identifying with those thoughts and stuff with our ego, right? But when we connect with our body, that's when we can start to feel and listen to that intuition,
Right.
because that's where it comes from. Like,
Right.
most people are so disconnected from their body.
Yeah.
They spend all day in their mind, and they just not connected to their body, and that's what causes so much suffering.
Facts. No, that's facts. There's this book called Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, and it's a really cool book because
I've heard of that.
you seen it. Yeah, it like, it's not even like necessarily like a typical book where you read it chapter for chapter, but what it is like, say you have some type of body symptom, then you'll go to the certain section or the certain symptom, and then it'll tell you what the emotional connection is, right? And like a sore throat, don't directly quote me on this, but a sore throat is like, oh, you don't feel like you can speak for yourself, or you have something that you want to say, you have something that you want to express. And bro, growing up, my mom, she was always into like that type of stuff. And growing up, I would be playing sports, I'd hurt my knee, hurt my ankle, I would have chest pains, I'd get sick. And she's like, what are you not emotionally processing? And when I was younger, I was like, Mom, like, what are you talking about? Like, this is just a normal ankle sprain, like, it happens playing basketball. But what I failed to realize, you have to vibrate on that level for that circumstance to happen to you. You have to be in the perfect precision of time for that cold to hit you, for those germs to hit you. You had to be on the same wavelength as those negative things for them to be attracted to you. Whether that was because you were upset that your mom yelled at you, your dad yelled at you, or you got a bad grade and you held on to that, then you didn't express yourself, then your immune system dropped, then you touched a normal surface, it's cold season, and typically you have a strong immune system, but since you were emotionally out of whack, now you got a sore throat because you didn't outspeak when your mom yelled at you, when your teacher gave you a bad grade, or when your dad got mad and you didn't say anything. It's like, now that you were holding on to it, you weren't vibrating where you needed to be, then those negative things creep in. And it like comes back down to what we were saying at the beginning, is like, the money making personality is the creator and the creation. Like, those bad things aren't happening to you because, oh, you're just a magnet for bad things. That's just where you were vibrating at that time. You were just vibrating where sickness, depression, anxiety, or those undesirable things were, that's where you were vibrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And it's absolutely true because you can't get sick unless like it takes you vibrating at that lower level in order to get sick because we're exposed to germs all the time.
Yeah.
Completely normal. But whether or not we get sick depends on how well our immune system is functioning.
And I know there's not a lot of people in here, but if there was, this would be very controversial. But this is why the news did us such an injustice in the time of COVID, because don't get me wrong, I'm not going to downplay COVID because I don't know enough about it. But what I will say, the news was feeding such negativity that it scared people into more sickness.
Yep.
I'm not saying that COVID was contagious. I'm going to keep COVID out of it. But the news was feeding people sickness.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally feeding negativity only to these people. And I bet you a lot of people, I can't scientifically prove it, but I bet you a lot of people talk themselves into being sick, vibrated themselves into being sick. And, you can't say that everywhere, but, that's my belief on it.
No, I will stand strong behind that point because I know that's facts.
Yeah.
Our emotions, there's no disconnection between our emotions and our immunity and our well-being and our health. There's no disconnection there. And honestly, I would say turn off the news.
Turn off the news.
Do not watch. There's no fucking point for you to watch the news. It's ridiculous. It's just a fear program. That's all it has been all throughout. I'm not gonna say it. I don't know if Instagram's gonna flag it or something. You already said it. So all throughout COVID, it's just a fear program on the TV, and people get sucked into it, and then they're obsessing over this fear, and that's undoubtedly gonna drive them into sickness.
Mm-hmm. Your dominant thoughts create your reality. If you think, I don't want to get sick, 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 all your subconscious mind hears is sick. Get sick.
Yep.
I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be broke. Broke.
Be broke. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. Hurt.
Yeah.
Your dominant thoughts create your reality. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking? Gems.
Yeah.
Gems. There's just constant gems being spilled.
Yep.
Whoever caught him.
Huh?
I said whoever caught him.
Yep. And whoever's watching the replay, catch him too.
Bro, I'm addicted. I need a sponsorship. You remember yesterday when we were on the phone? There was probably 12 of them left. There's only 2.
Oh my God. You should be popping them constantly.
Yes. This is probably my 4th one in the last 10 minutes.
Hey, that's better than doing something else.
I
don't think Altoids are bad for you.
Right. Oh, this is fire. No, let's go live again next week.
I'm down. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and then we can do an evening one too. Bro, my practice actually just got canceled too, so we could have done a later one. But I thought this was smooth. No, this was fine.
We could just stay on here. I'm down to talk for hours.
On me, no,
I could for sure.
No, that's how our FaceTime went yesterday. I called you just for one thing. We end up scheming a whole business framework.
Oh, that was lit.
Lit. I love it. What are you on the rest of the day?
Let's see. Just doing some work, doing some outreach, booking some calls.
Yeah, I need to.
I'm also working on this PDF, a free guide. It's called the False Belief Relief Guide.
That sounds fire. That sounds fire.
Gotta eliminate those false beliefs.
No, Where you stay at right now, James? Are you in AZ? No, I'm in Salem, Oregon. I'm coming back to AZ to visit the 27th of March. So in a month. A month. Okay. I'll be back. I'll be back. Yeah, Louis. Hit me up, Louis. But Elijah, I'm gonna let you go because I need to do some outreach and then I got a meeting in like 20.
All right, bet.
All right, my guy.
Definitely.
This was fire, per usual.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna invite you as a collaborator, right? That's what I gotta do.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, and then can you write your own caption, or do we have to like share a caption?
Nah, you can just write a caption when you end it, and then it'll just post the same caption to my page.
Okay, bet. I'm gonna write some goodness.
All right.
All right, my guy. I appreciate you.
All right, bro. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks, bro.